I think I'm going to go to this one. This question from Brenda is, how do you build confidence in yourself? I love this question because I think this question is the key. I think this question is what holds a lot of people back. Their belief that they're not going to be able to do it, that they're not going to be successful, that fear that a lot of people bring into business about putting themselves out there, making themselves visible to the world. And actually, I was just reading this book. I didn't even plan this. I had the book sitting right there. I just finished reading this book, Real Artists Don't Starve. And there was a quote in this book that I love, love, loved. And if I can find it quickly, I kind of know where it is. But it talks about kind of this fear of doing it. Yep, here it is. This idea about making yourself visible to other people. First of all, who here feels like you could use some extra confidence in your business? Who here is afraid of putting yourself out there, being visible? Maybe you're afraid of doing selfies. Maybe you're afraid of doing videos. Maybe you're afraid of posting every day. Maybe you're afraid of negative comments on your products. Let me know in the comments if that's you, because I know that this does affect a lot of people. So, this is about an artist who always wanted to do cartoons. She ended up doing some sort of financial newsletter, and then she started illustrating them with her cartoons. But that's what she really wanted to do was cartoons. And it says one of her cartoons features a white ghost with the caption, "Let yourself be seen." Below it, Stephanie wrote, "I was nervous about putting my work out in the open because as much as I wanted people to know what I was doing, I was worried about being exposed. There was a risk of letting myself be seen. Like if they looked too closely, they'd discover I was a fraud. If I showed off my work, I'd be vulnerable to criticism or worse, silence. But if I embraced the risk that came with being seen, there was a huge reward waiting for me. The feeling of acknowledgement, of being noticed, of feeling heard, and most important, feeling worthy of being seen. That seems so worth the risk." And that really stuck with me. I felt like as I read that I was reading that from more than half the people that join Handmade Sellers Club. That fear of being seen, that fear of getting negative judgment, that fear that people are going to reject you. And unfortunately, when we go on Facebook and we start posting about our products on Facebook, and maybe some friends and family are engaging initially, and then they drop off, right? We already talked about that. It becomes like a self-fulfilling prophecy. You're making bad posts. And by bad, I just mean they're not strategically good, they're not engaging. It doesn't make people want to lean in and know more, right? So you're making posts that people aren't interested in, so they stop engaging. And that silence, that potential silence, can be terrifying. Nobody likes what I'm doing. My prices must be too high. Maybe it's the economy. Like we come up with all of these excuses as to why people aren't engaging with our posts and why they're not buying our product. But the longer we go of getting zero engagement, zero feedback, zero sales, the more it can just wear on you. And that confidence can really erode. That confidence that, I do have a good product and it is really great and people should really love it, but like I'm not getting that feedback. Now, in this case, the Stephanie, she already had an email list, right? So she already had a group of people that she had a relationship with. And it was more about switching from focusing on her financial stuff to really presenting herself as an artist to her audience of people who already loved her. For a lot of you, you don't have much of an audience to begin with. So you're starting with very little audience. You're making posts that they don't like, and then you're not getting sales. You're not getting engagement. You're not getting sales. So how do you build your confidence? Number one is looking for the positive reinforcement that you have gotten and dwell on that. Like the more you dwell on nobody is interacting, the more you're going to go into a mindset of then therefore everybody hates me, right? I suck, my products suck, your confidence is going to go down. So look at where you were to where you are now. And for some of you, you're just starting out. But for others, you've been selling at shows. All right, the stuff sells at shows. Obviously, people like it, right? So really focus on the positive interaction that you're getting just to help build that confidence of like, hey, I didn't think I could do this before. I sold hardly nothing at shows before, and now I'm actually selling some things at shows. Look at this advancement I've made. I didn't know how to get to here before. Now I'm here and I don't know how to get to there, but I've already proven to myself that I can do that, right? So that's called the gap and the gain, and that's something that I was talking about in the HSC call yesterday. I listened to more of the ebook today. It's fantastic, a book I highly recommend. Or I was listening to the audiobook. So it's not focusing so much on what I don't have, but focusing on what you do have. All right. So that's number one. Number two is like straight up join Superseller System, because there's several things that we help you do in Superseller System. One, we help you learn how to make posts that people will actually engage more with. Now, you may not go from 0 engagement to 100 people engaging, but if you go from 0 engagement to now you're getting 2 to 3 likes on every single post, that's gaining, right? That's you moving in the right direction. And if you stop in those moments and realize, wow, look at this, I went from 0 to now I'm getting some engagement. And then you make a sale, right? You're making these posts, people are engaging more, somebody reaches out, they want to buy something. Well, heck, I sold nothing before and I sold one now. That's exciting. That's proving to me that I can do something I didn't think I knew how to do. Use the quick cash method. Quick cash method, even if you don't have an audience, you can go out into groups. And when you find the right group and a post hits, that's a huge confidence boost when people are saying, that's amazing. I love that. Do you have one for sale? So while you may not have enough audience on your own page to give you that feedback, you can go into other groups and using the quick cash method and the way I teach it, you can get that immediate feedback and see very, very quick results. We've had people make sales within 30 minutes using the quick cash method. That's a huge boost in confidence, right? So it's about these baby steps. It's about, I didn't think I knew how to do it, but I'm following a system, and every time I follow the system, I see improvements. I see the reach for my posts is going up. I see the engagement is going up. I see the amount of followers that I have is going up, and tracking the gain rather than being stuck in the gap and saying, I'm not at this ideal version of what I think my business should be at yet. So therefore I'm a failure, right? That's going to kill your confidence. If you are in the gain, then you're going to constantly see proof of your forward momentum. And as you focus on all the good things that are happening and all the positive interactions you're getting, the more confidence you're going to have to continue to go forward. And what's nice again about Handmade Sellers Club is if you are stuck, you're like, hey, I've been here, I've not been making forward movement, you get the group to go and ask and say, hey, I'm not getting forward movement here. Is there something about my posts that I'm doing wrong? Does my unique product focus make sense? Here are the groups that I'm joining. Does anybody have suggestions for better groups? And we can help you get past those speed bumps, because that's really all they are. But when you're at a crawl, it's hard to go over a speed bump, right? And if you're at a stop, you can't go over a speed bump. So we're there to give you that push and help you realize your abilities and what you can do. The 2 other things I would say about boosting confidence, I got to tell you, selfies, selfies, because it's a scary thing that you don't want to do. But when you do it, you just did a scary thing. It's a really easy thing. Everybody here right now, anybody who said like, I deal with self-confidence issues, just double the amount of selfies that you're using on your Facebook post. If you're following the PFP, put more pictures of you with your product on it. One, audiences love it. You'll get more engagement with selfies. If that's something that you're nervous about and you're scared about, and that feels like a big step in putting yourself out there, take the step. It's a pretty easy step to take. It can just it can just it's mentally difficult, right? It's not like you have a phone, take a picture of you holding your product, post it. Physically, it's easy, right? But it's a huge mental hurdle to get over. And then the next one would be going Facebook Live. Just jump on and go Facebook Live. Now, some of you don't have enough followers, or maybe your page isn't old enough. So, we're actually doing a Facebook Live challenge in Handmade Sellers Club this month, where you can go live in our group from your personal account and just practice going live. The confidence boost I see from people from day 1 to day 5, the confidence is off the charts. It's just off the charts. It's crazy big, because there was this thing that they were terrified of, and then they did it, and they had proof that they could do a scary thing. And then they realized, hey, that wasn't actually that scary. So there wasn't really anything real to be afraid of, right? So maybe this other thing, there isn't really anything real to be afraid of. And that just builds your confidence over time. Diana says, my prompt right now is throwback. I have had my laser for 4 years. I have spent tons of money on products to engrave, displays for shows, and photography prompts. My basement and closets are full of this. Once I chose my unique product focus, it all made sense. Purchase wood, acrylic, and glue sheets, done. Yes, I love that. The more you have a focus, it keeps. So even for like a unique product focus, one of the things it does is, rather than you having to source materials from 26 different places for your 26 different crafts, it makes production easier. It makes ordering easier. It makes bookkeeping easier. It just makes everything about your business easier. You know exactly what you need and what you don't need, and you can leave out what you don't need, and you don't have to chase those bright, shiny objects. I know it's fun chasing bright, shiny objects, but you don't have to chase the bright, shiny objects. Laura says, I've joined several groups. I've had no sales from them, just marketers and scammers. Then you're in the wrong groups, Laura. You don't want to be in the marketers and scammers groups, and there are tons of them. There are plenty of groups that are not like that at all, where people really are looking for your product. I'm not sure if you are a member, Laura. I don't recognize your name from HSC. Like I don't remember seeing you interacting in the group. But if you're an HSC member, watch the training, but then ask in the HSC group, this is what I'm selling. What group should I join? Because what most people think is that you should be joining buy-sell groups, and buy-sell groups can be really, really difficult to stand out in, and you do end up with a lot of marketers and scammers. Yeah, you are a member. So right now, Laura, go over to HSC, make a post and say, I sell X. I'm looking for ideas for what groups to join. And the community is there to give you feedback on that. Because you won't make sales in those kinds of groups. You're just going to get ignored. You've got to be strategic about the types of groups that you join. Lana says, OMG, I remember my first live. Almost threw up, but didn't die. We've actually had people cry on their very first live. This is why I like the live challenge, because with the live challenge, and again, we're hosting this inside of HSC. If you take the 2-week trial, you will not quite be there for the challenge, but you'll be close. Just take another month. That live challenge is huge, and very beneficial for members. We do it in a private Facebook group, so your friends and family don't see it. Your customers don't see it. You can cry, you can throw up, your voice can shake, your lighting can be terrible, your audio can be terrible. All of those things can happen in the privacy of a group. All the worst case scenarios can happen right there. And then you do it and you almost cry. And then you do it the next day and you feel a little less like crying. And by the time you get to day 5, we've literally had people say, I don't know why I cried on day 1. This is not that hard. I've had people even get to day 5 and say, all right, I did it. Now I know I can do it, but I don't think lives are for me, who now go live every single week and are in love with it and can't get enough. If you want to have fun in your business, if you want your business to be fun, if you want that interaction that you get at shows, I hear this a lot is like, I like the shows because I get to talk to people. I don't get to do that online. Well, then you're doing online wrong, because if you start going live, you're going to have this audience of people that are absolutely loving your lives, asking you questions, interacting. It's fantastic. You just got to get over the jitters first, right? You got to get over that, like, and I was the exact same way. The first couple of times I went live, I was terrified. I found one of my earliest lives for in the Vendor Success Secrets group. The very first live I did in the Vendor Success Secrets group, I found that. But I had already been going live for a little while before that with other things. So it's actually not that bad. But the very first one I did, I sat there and I stared at that live button. And I'm like, I don't know if I can do this. I don't know if I can do this. I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. All right. I'm going to push the button. I'm going to do it. And I was just like stuck there forever. I bet I sat there for 15 minutes staring at that live button. But once I did it 2 or 3 times, you know, that very first video that I did on VSS, I come across pretty naturally because I didn't have any nerves about it anymore. And that's not to say I don't get nervous still sometimes. I do sometimes still get nervous when I go live. If it's a different audience, if it's people that I'm not used to talking to, if I'm doing something really different than what I normally do, sometimes I'll still get those nerves pop up. And I'm like, I don't know if I want people to see me live. Like, they're going to see me live. But like, it goes away and I'm fine. So even if you take that challenge in Handmade Sellers Club, 5-day challenge, 5-day live challenge, you still might get a little bit of nerves going live on your own page, but they're going to be less so. You're going to have taken a lot of the sting out of it because you've practiced it in the group. So yes, the go live, go live, go live, go live, go live, go live, go live. One of the best ways to build build confidence, build a relationship with your audience, be able to show your products in a fun, interactive, 3-dimensional way where you can actually, you know, like move the product around and show them all the pieces and parts of it. It's the best way to connect with your audience. And Facebook loves it. It likes to distribute it pretty far and wide. It's fantastic. Let's see. All right. Michelle says, lives are the best. My followers remind me when I'm late. I've been recognized in public. I make sales. It's so worth it. Yeah, Michelle pretty much sells something every time she goes live, even though it's not on sale. Like, it's not discounted. She's just showing off product that she has and people buy it. So love, love, love that. Lana says it's fun to be recognized. Yeah, so I'm still waiting for my recognized moment. My goal is, because I do these lives and I do videos and all of that, my goal is to go to a random farmer's market or craft show, like in a different area. Obviously, people know who I am in this area. Like, enough people in this area know who I am. They know me more from the farmer's market than they know me from live videos. But I just want to walk into one and be like, oh my gosh, you're Allie Thompson. Like, I'm dying for that recognition. But a lot of Handmade Sellers Club members get that. They'll go to craft shows and people are like, I know you. I follow you online. I see your lives all the time. I see your videos. I just absolutely love you, which is so cool. You're right. It's so much easier to sell to that kind of person than it is to just put up salesy picture of the product with the price. It just really is. You will become a mini celebrity just by going live, by using video and going live. Susie says, I've been going live for a bit, having a hard time growing my community. Any suggestions? So Susie, are you a Handmade Sellers Club member? Let me ask you that first. If you're a member, then I recommend really just going through the training. So quick cash method, make sure you have a unique product focus. That's number 1. Quick cash method, posting power posts. And then there is training on how to get more followers. There are some very specific tactics in there for getting more followers. but a lot of it is just this interaction. Now, you said building your community. Oh, you are not. Yeah, then I recommend joining Handmade Sellers Club because here's the thing. If you grow your community and you don't have a unique product focus, then you're going to be attracting potentially the exact wrong audience. This is why, even in Handmade Sellers Club, I have how to get more followers after picking your unique product focus, and why I don't host workshops on how to get more followers on your Facebook page to people who are not in Handmade Sellers Club, because you can absolutely ruin your page if you attract the wrong people to your account. I've seen this many, many, many times, and it can take of a lot of momentum to get the right followers to outnumber the wrong followers. So Susie says she's not a member, but I'm getting followers, but not all are purchasing. First of all, not all of them are going to purchase. But again, Handmade Sellers Club. So in Handmade Sellers Club, we give you the Prompts for Profits calendar. That is the key. That is the secret, is to get them engaged in a way that makes them lean in and say, I want that. I need that. So a good example of this is I had a member, they had a tie-dye t-shirt company, and they were posting twice a day to their Facebook page. They had like 250 followers, not great, but not terrible, right? So they weren't starting at zero. They were making like $200 to $300 in sales a month. And they thought that was good. They thought maybe if they tried really, really hard, in about a year, they could get to $500 in sales. They started using the Prompts for Profits calendar. Within the first week, they made $1,000 in sales. Within a month, it was $2,000, $3,000, $4,000 months. They didn't even have a website. They had no website, and they still had 250 followers. It actually took them a while to build their followers. We do a prize in Handmade Sellers Club where you get a mug when you get to 1,000 followers. It took them a while to get there. They got their mug, they made it. It took them a while to get there, but they were able to monetize their small following very, very quickly using the Prompts for Profits calendar. So number one is unique product focus, right? Make sure that you have that unique product focus. Power post, that's from the calendar. Prompts for Profits, post from the Prompts for Profits calendar. And make sure you're following the rules of posting. So we have an entire training that says, like, these are the things to post, these are things not to post. Because if you're posting the wrong stuff, it doesn't matter if you're getting more followers. If you're not making the right posts, you're not going to lead them to sales. There are certain posts that you can make that will lead them to sales. Now, the trick is not just a post that gets them to sales. The trick is posting daily, because when you post daily, these sorts of posts, not every post is designed for immediate sales, but it builds that relationship. Like we were talking at the beginning of this call, they're here, you want them to purchase your product, which is here. Most people don't just jump over, right? If you've ever heard in advertising, it takes 7 touches for somebody to decide to buy from you. It's not exactly true, but it's a good thing to think about. With social media, you need a lot more touches, but you're moving them closer and closer and closer and closer and closer and closer and closer. And that's what the posts do. There are very few things. Really, the only way to get them from here to here is they were already looking for that solution, or your product is so wow that they just can't help themselves. Now, some people are lucky enough to have a product like that. I don't even want to say lucky. Some people were really smart in creating a product like that, but most people don't have something that's like, wow, that's unlike anything I've ever seen in my life. And that's exactly what I need in my life. For most of us, we need to move them closer to the goal. Okay. That's what the PFP does, the Prompts for Profits calendar.